loosely, go ahead and choose me. Here I am, listen loosely, don't say that you knew me. Here I am, listen loosely, go ahead and choose me.
What's up, everybody? I got to do that like over here because it becomes too loud that it duffs it when I actually start editing the podcast. But welcome to the VerryBlunt podcast with another episode of A Joke for Joke with my boy, my man, my guy, Bobby Hollywood. Go ahead, though. Introduce yourself.
Yeah, baby, Hollywood. Bobby Hollywood in the house.
In the house. He's not in the Caniverse this time. You could see he figured it out. He figured it out.
You have a whole different. This is actually this is actually Earth. This is actually a real setup here.
We're not in the Caniverse today. We are joking for joking. And I'm gonna start it off. I told you I got a lot of quick ones. So my girlfriend calls me a skeptic, but I don't believe anything she says.
Why is an Irishman like a banana?
Why?
Born green, turns yellow, dies rotten.
Did you hear about the new book about constipation?
No.
It hasn't come out yet.
Oh! What's the definition of mass hysteria?
What?
Father's Day in Harlem.
Did you know that diarrhea was hereditary?
Really?
Yeah, it runs in your genes.
Oh! You know, I have a friend had he had a vasectomy. He had a vasectomy. He found out the hard way that it doesn't always work, and it could make your baby black.
That's a good one. Even the first part was good. I once had a job smashing cans. It was so depressing.
Little Johnny's in school, and the teacher says to the class, I want you to use a sentence using the word urinate. Little Johnny raises his hand right away. Teacher's like, fuck, little Johnny, man, I hate to pick on him because he's always going to say some shit, but nobody else is raising their hand. Little Johnny, use a sentence with the word urinate. He says, urinate, but if your tits big, you'd be a 10.
That's a good one. Okay, teacher, kids, what does a chicken give you? Student, meat. Teacher, very good. Now, what does a pig give you? Student, bacon. Teacher, great. And what does a fat cow give you? Student, homework.
All right, I got a joke that I remembered that it's a little bit of a story joke. Is that okay?
Absolutely.
All right, so and I think as I remember, as memory recalls, this was a Norm Macdonald joke.
Okay.
Do you know the Professor of Logic?
Professor of Logic, okay.
Yeah. Okay, so there's a guy in a bar. He's sitting there. He's having a drink, and he's all by himself. And another guy walks in, and he sits down in a seat next to him, or you know, one seat away from him. He orders a drink, and he's sitting there, and the two guys start talking. And at some point, the first guy says to the second guy, he says, "What do you do for a living?" And he says, I'm a professor over there at the university." He says, "Really? What do you do?" He says, "I'm a professor of logic." He says, "A professor of logic? What the hell is that?" Guy says, well, it's a little difficult to explain, but let me give you an example.
I heard this joke before. I like this one.
He says, let me ask you a question. Do you own a doghouse? Guy says, yeah, I own a doghouse. And he says, well, if you own a doghouse, you must have a dog. And he says, yeah, I do have a
I have a
dog.
dog. Yep.
And he says, well, if you have a dog, you probably have kids.
Yep.
He
I have
says,
kids.
yes, I do have kids. Yep. And he says, and if you have kids, you obviously have a wife. And he says, yeah, I do have a wife. He says, well, you see, that's the logic. Just from a simple question, like I asked you, do you have a doghouse? I was able to determine that you're a heterosexual male.
Right. You're straight. Right.
Right. So the guy says, wow, that's fucking amazing. I really love that. And they finish their drink. They said the professor walks out, and the bartender walks up to the guy. He goes, hey, what was that all about? He goes, well, that guy there, he works over at the university. He's a professor of logic. Bartender says, professor of logic? What the hell is that? Guy says, well, it's a little difficult to explain, but let me give you an example. He says, do you own a doghouse?
And he said no.
Bartender says, nah, I don't own a doghouse. He goes, oh, you must be one of those gays.
I love that joke. That's a good ass joke. Good fucking joke, baby. All right. All right. So Bobby Hollywood was in trouble. He forgot his wedding anniversary. His wife was really angry. She told him, tomorrow morning, I expect to find a gift in the driveway that goes 0 to 100 in 6 seconds, and it better be there. The next morning, he got up early and left for work. When his wife woke up, she looked out the window, and sure enough, there was a box gift wrapped in the middle of the driveway. Confused, the wife put on her robe, ran out to the driveway, brought the box back inside. She opened it, and she found a brand new bathroom scale. Bob has been missing since Friday. Scales go 0 to 100 in 6 seconds. Am I right?
Hey, what's the worst thing about eating vegetables?
Something about they're in a wheelchair or something.
The ammonia smell in the leather seat of the wheelchair.
I knew it. I knew it was something with a wheelchair. All right, here we go. I once asked a guy to call me a taxi. He said I would. I once asked a guy to call me a taxi.
Yeah.
He said I would, but I would really like to call you a truck.
Let me think. Kid walks up to his dad. He says, Dad, at school today, the teacher was trying to teach us the difference between theory and reality. And I really couldn't wrap my head around the concept. Can you help me? Dad says, absolutely, son. I want you to go find your mother and your sister and ask each one of them if they would sleep with a stranger for $1 million. So the kid walks up to his sister. He finds his sister. He goes up to his sister. He says, hey, sis, would you sleep with a stranger for $1 million? She says, $1 million? Absolutely. 100%. Okay. So he finds his mom, asks his mom the same question. Would you sleep with a stranger for $1 million? She says, $1 million? Absolutely. Wouldn't even think twice about it. Goes back down to his dad. He says, Dad, I asked my sister and my mom if they would sleep with a stranger for $1 million. They both said yes, they would. Dad says, okay, this is the difference, son. In theory, we're millionaires. In reality, we're living with a couple of whores.
Love it. All right, here we go. A teacher wanted to teach their students about self-esteem. So she asked everyone who thought they were stupid to stand up. One kid stood up and the teacher was surprised. She didn't think anybody would stand up. So she asked him, "Why would you stand up?" He answered, "I didn't want to leave you standing by yourself." All right, wasn't a hit. I thought it was pretty good. Wasn't a hit. All right, here we go.
It's okay. It's all right.
All right, hold on. Light travels faster than sound. That's why some people appear brighter until they speak.
Guy walks into his psychiatrist. He says, "Doc, while I'm at work, I have this incredible urge to fuck the pickle slicer." He says, what's wrong with you?"
A pickle slicer?
Yeah. He says, what's wrong with you? First of all, you're gonna lose your job. And second of all, that could be dangerous, hazardous to your health.
Mm-hmm.
He says, I know, Doc, but for some reason, every time I go to work, that's what I want to do. He says, well, I would strongly suggest you don't do that, but you know, it's your life. Do as you will. So about a week or so later, he comes back into the doctor's office. He says, "Doc, it finally happened." He says, "What happened?" He says, "Well, I went into work and I was staring at the pickle slicer and I just couldn't help myself. And it happened. I fucked the pickle slicer." And he says, "And what happened?" He goes, "Well, they fired me." He goes, "And what happened to the pickle slicer?" He goes, "They fired her too."
I like that one. Okay, listen. I don't think now on I'm calling women sluts. I'm
You know what
calling
they
them a
could?
penny.
You know what they,
Two-faced, worthless, and in everyone's pants.
wait. Say that again.
I don't think from now on I'm going to call women sluts. I'm going to call them a penny. Two-faced, worthless, and in everyone's pants.
Hey, there was something I wanted to bring up. We just passed May, right? We just came
Uh-huh.
out of May, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't realize until until later in the month that May is Mental Health Awareness Month.
Yes, it
Did you know
is.
that?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Did you watch
And
my Freedom to Think podcast? We actually speak on that.
no, I didn't. I missed that. But what I was thinking was, I started hearing a lot of, towards the end of the month, I didn't hear anything. I started hearing a lot of commercials about Mental Health Awareness Month, and they were giving websites and phone numbers and groups that you can join, all this kind of stuff. But I'm thinking, uh, if you have some mental issue, if you have something going on in your head, right? There's a problem up there.
Mm-hmm.
What are the chances that you actually know there's a problem? I mean, if you have a mental health issue, how do you know you have a problem?
Yeah, I agree
And
with that.
and what would prompt you to call the number and say, "Hey, you know what? I'm fucking crazy. I need to come into a group."
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I don't. I think we got to reach the mentally ill.
Like, how do you, if you're mentally ill, how do you know you're even mentally ill?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
How do you even know that it's Mental Health Awareness Month?
Hey, listen, I don't think I'm 100% here, but I love me. Um, so one time, I was on the New York subway, and I had to watch
Just
a. I was
just
on the
one.
one time. This was just one time. I was on the New York subway, and I had to watch a homeless man masturbate for 45 minutes until I
You
turned
had
my
to watch it.
until I turned my phone off. Listen, listen,
Look who
listen,
came to visit.
listen.
Look who came to visit.
Hey, nice. Awesome. All right, I'm gonna give you another one back to back. So my
All right.
parents were so strict, even when I was little, even for the little things. Like when we would watch a movie and a sex scene came on, my father would cover my eyes, so I wouldn't see him masturbating.
Hey, what do you call a uh what do you call I love this. What do you call a Mexican with a vasectomy?
What do you call a Mexican with a vasectomy? What?
Dry Martinez.
You know what? I'm gonna give you one right back. Why
Okay.
doesn't Mexico have an Olympic team?
Oh, I know this one.
Because everybody that can run, jump, and swim is already in the U.S.
What do you call a pool full of Chinamen?
What?
Rice Krispies.
What do you call a rich Asian?
What?
Cha-ching.
What do you call a woman with an opinion?
What?
Wrong. What do you call a Chinese woman with an opinion?
Wong.
Wrong.
Hold on, I got another Chinese joke. Oh, where is it? Where is it? Oh, here you go. What do you call an Asian guy with a camera?
What?
Filming.
um, uh, hold on.
All right, all right.
What do you call the extra flesh around the pussy?
A waste. Oh, the woman.
A woman.
What does a drummer name his two daughters? And a one and a two.
Okay, so there's a tribe of cannibals, all right?
Okay.
And the head of the tribe, a youngster in the tribe goes up to the head of the tribe and he tells him he wants to learn how to hunt. So the elder takes the boy to the edge of the woods where the city starts, where civilization is, and they hide in the trees. They hide in the bushes and they wait. And all of a sudden, a tall, very slender, skinny woman walks by. And the little boy says, "Would we eat her?" And the guy says, "We wouldn't eat her. There's no meat on her bones. She's just skin and bones. There's nothing there. There's nothing there for us."
Mm-hmm.
So then a really fat woman walks by, and he says, "Would we eat her?" And he says, "No, we wouldn't eat her. There's all fat there. There's no nutrition there. There's no protein. It's all fat. We
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't eat that." So they're waiting in the bushes, and then all of a sudden, this gorgeous woman walks by. Beautiful ass, tits, long legs. She's gorgeous hair, pretty, just absolutely gorgeous woman walks by. And he says, "Hey, would we eat her?" He says, "No, we take her home and eat your mom."
That's a good one. That's a good one. A man was lying on a beach, wearing nothing but a cap on his crotch. A woman
Nothing but a what?
passing
Nothing but a what?
nothing but a hat on his crotch.
On his crotch. Okay.
Okay. A woman passing by remarks, "If you were any sort of a gentleman, you would lift your hat for the lady." He replies, "If you were any sort of a sexy lady, the hat would lift itself."
No. Okay, so this drunk storms into a bar. This is the bartender. Give me, give me, give me a drink immediately. Bartender says, "Hey, what's going on?" He says, I was just outside. I was on the corner. I was peeing, and a bus came by. Came right by, took my thing off. Bartender says, that didn't happen. He's, I can prove it. I have it right here in my pocket. Bartender just laughs at him. He says, "You wait, watch and see." So he reaches in his pocket, pulls it out, puts it on the bar, goes, "There you go." Bartender looks close at it. He goes, "That's just a cigar butt." He goes, "It is?" Wrong pocket. So he reaches in the other pocket. He gets it. He puts it on the bar. "There you go." Bartender looks close. He goes, "That's just another old cigar butt." Drunk goes, "Oh no, I smoked my dick."
I just smoked my dick. All right, here we go. Middle school is a hard time, though. Seriously. I used to hate it. I would always get a random boner. So I quit substitute teaching.
All right, there's a black man and his wife and their 10-month-old baby sitting at the breakfast table having breakfast. And the baby looks over at the mom and he goes, "Mother." And the father says, "See, honey, he said his first half a word."
Motherfucker. All right, here we go. Here we go. So this guy walks into a bank and tells the teller, "I want to open a fucking checking account." And the teller goes, "Excuse me, sir. You can't use that language." He's like, "Listen, I want to open a fucking checking account." She's like, "Listen, I can't accept you using that language with me. I'm gonna go get my manager." So the manager comes by. She's like, "Hey, what's the problem, sir?" She's like, "Hey, listen, I wanted to open a fucking checking account with $500,000." So the manager goes, "And this bitch wouldn't open it for you?"
And what? I missed the end?
So the manager comes over and says, so what happened, sir? What's the issue?" And the guy says, "So I want to open a fucking checking account with $500,000." And the manager goes, "Well, this fucking bitch won't open it for you?"
Man, we're on a roll tonight.
This is great. I can't wait to I'm releasing this on my birthday. I can't wait. This is a great release on the birthday. A man goes to a therapist and says, "Doc, why do people keep ignoring me?" The therapist says, "Next."
That's like the guy that calls the suicide hotline. They put him on hold.
That's good. That's good. That's gold.
Okay, so there's a guy in a bar in Scotland, and Everybody in the bar is having a great time. They're drinking and laughing and partying, and they're all having a great time. And this one guy is sitting over in the back of the bar at a table all by himself. And one of the guys that are in the bar, he goes up to him. He goes, "Hey, what's going on? How come you're not with the rest of the crowd having a good time?" He says, "You see this bar here? I built this bar with my own two hands. I built the entire bar here." He goes, "And you see that bar that's there, that oak bar with all the carvings in it? I built that bar and I made all those carvings. I dragged the trees 10 miles over here and I stripped each tree and I cut each log to size and each plank to size. And I made all the carvings in the bar with my own hands with a chisel." Guy says, "Boy, that's amazing." He says, "And you know that bridge that comes into town to get to this bar? I built that bridge. My own two hands. I built that bridge. And I still get no respect in this town." And the guy says, well, how come? I mean, you did all these wonderful things. How come nobody respected you?" He goes, "Well, you fuck one goat."
And you're a go fucker. That's that's a good one. I'm gonna give you a couple jokes that are probably gonna bring up some other jokes in your memory banks. So, how
Okay.
do you give a redneck a compliment? Tell him he has a nice tooth.
Tell me, he has a nice what?
Tooth.
Uh, okay. Um, what's the difference between jam and marmalade?
Jam and marmalade. Oh man, I know this has to do with like jamming something up somebody's, jamming up your mom or some shit. What?
You can't marmalade your cock up a bird's ass.
That's it. What's the difference between a enzyme and a hormone?
Oh, I know this.
You can't hear an enzyme, but you
Yeah,
can hear a hormone.
how do you make a gay guy? How do you make a fag fuck a woman?
Tell him it's a dude.
What's that?
You tell him it's a guy.
No, you shit in her cunt.
That's good. What do tornadoes and redneck divorces have in common?
Tornadoes and what?
Redneck divorces have in common.
I don't know that one.
Somebody's fixing to lose a trailer.
What's the difference? What's the difference between a lentil and a chickpea?
A lentil and a chickpea. I don't know this one. What?
I wouldn't pay $200 for a lentil on me.
That's good. All right, so I was speaking to a redneck the other day, and he got all irate when I asked him if he ever slept with his sister. He said, "God damn it, no." He cried. "Mine is a God-fearing family, and there'll be no sleeping with the sisters, at least until we get married."
I wouldn't pay $200 to have a lentil on me.
What a chick being. I'm down.
Okay.
We are on a roll today. This is good. We are on a roll today. I'm actually gonna be out of a joke soon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Um, this is an old joke. I got a really old joke. Buddy Hackett. You know who Buddy Hackett is?
Mm-mm.
Buddy Hackett is a old comedian, stand-up comedian. He was a couple different movies too. Very funny man, just naturally funny. Um, uh, bunch of just could tell a story like just crazy because he was a very funny man. So this is a Buddy Hackett joke.
Okay.
Um, Guy from the city. He drives out. He takes a drive out to the country. He wants to go duck hunting. He drives out and he has all his he's got all his stuff on, his camouflage and everything. He's sitting in the shrub with his shotgun and he's waiting for ducks to come by and he's waiting there all day and nothing happens, right? And then finally he's almost ready to go home and finally he sees some ducks come by and he looks and he takes aim and he fires. He hits the duck and the duck flies and the duck falls down and it hits the roof of a barn and it bounces off and it hits the ground in somebody's backyard. So the guy gathers up all his stuff, goes over to the area where the duck fell, climbs over the fence. He walks over, he sees the duck, he runs over there, and he's just about to pick up the duck when he sees two work boots right by his head. And he looks up, and it's a huge farmer, just massive, with overalls on, no shirt. And he's looking down at him. And he says, "What are you doing, boy?" The guy lets go of the duck. He stands up. He says, "Came to get my duck." Guy looks up at the barn, looks down at the ground. He says, "That's my duck." Guy says, "That's not your duck." He goes, I came from the city. I've been out here all day. I was waiting. I shot the duck. That's my duck. I shot the duck." He says, "You from the city, huh?" He says, "Yeah, I'm from the city." He goes, "So you don't know about property lines?" He says, "What do you mean?" He goes, "That duck fell out of the sky. It hit my barn, hit the roof on my barn, bounced off, fell on my property. That's my duck." Guy says, "Come on, man. I'm here all day." He goes, "Okay." He goes, "I'll give you a chance to get the duck back." He goes, "But we'll have to settle it country style." He says, "Country style, what's that?" He says, "We're going to take turns kicking each other in the groin." He goes, "And the last guy standing can have the duck." Guy says, "Well, if that's what I got to do, okay."
He can have the duck.
So
He can have the duck. I don't want the duck anymore. Pass. You got it, buddy.
quite ruining my story.
Sorry.
Hey, go ahead.
You didn't finish your story.
You gave away my whole story.
Oh. I actually didn't know the line. I'm saying, personally, he can have the
All
duck.
right. So the guy says, okay, if that's what I got to do, that's what I got to do. The farmer says, I'm going to go first. So the farmer stands up and he hauls off. Bam! He kicks the guy right in the dick. Guys, oh, oh.
Fucking hurting. Dude's fucking hurting.
Oh, 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 oh. About a half hour. He finally catches his breath. He goes, okay, it's my turn. Farmer says, you can have the duck.
Smart farmer. Smart farmer. That's funny. Okay. Hey, man. Are you fucking up right now? Do you hear me?
Bad.
Do you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh. Do you hear me?
Earth to Bryce.
Yeah,
And Bryce.
sorry. Oh, shoot. Damn. My headphones went out. Okay, so a pair of rednecks were standing before a judge of a family court, waiting for the decree of what the divorce had been finalized. They had one question for the judge. Will we still be brother and sister after this?
Yeah. Uh, um, uh, uh,
So
you
today I
can.
asked my phone, Siri, why am I still single? And it activated the front camera. Did you see Siri? Did you hear that? That
I
was
love that.
non-bland. That was
That is great.
non-bland. Wow.
That is awesome. That was awesome. Um, uh, uh, okay. A guy and a girl are out on a date, and they're walking. They're walking down the street, and they walk past a cemetery. And the girl has an idea about having sex. She suggests to the guy, "Let's have sex in the cemetery." So he agrees, and they go into the cemetery, and they're looking around. They find those uh, the flat stones, the ones that lay on the ground. The
Mhm.
flat headstones. They lay flat on the ground, and they had sex right on the headstone. And the next day, the girl is complaining about back problems. She says back is just really sore, it hurts really bad. So she decides to go to the doctor, and she goes to the doctor, and before he really examines her or anything, he looked at her chart and all, and uh, he said, well, I'm a little confused. He goes, how old are you? She goes, I'm 26. Why? He says, because it says you died in 1946 on your ass.
I did not see where that was coming. All right, here we go. This is a story about a Mercedes Benz. Have you ever wanted a Mercedes Benz?
Me?
Yeah.
No.
You never wanted a Mercedes Benz? Well, you know how
Never.
people love Mercedes Benz, right? So this is a
Well,
story
I
about
guess there are
Mercedes
some.
Benz.
I know they're out there.
So this is a true story too. This is a true story. So this elephant and this mouse is walking through the woods of Africa. Okay, they're walking through the woods of Africa. Okay, and they're walking down this path, and the elephant falls into this ditch. He's like, "Help me! Help me! I need to get out of this ditch." So the mouse was like, "I got an idea. I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna get my Mercedes Benz, and then I'm gonna go to the store and get some rope, and I'm gonna pull you out." So elephant's like, "Go ahead." So the mouse goes home, gets his Mercedes Benz, then goes to the hardware store and gets some rope, and then goes back to the ditch and pulls the elephant out. Okay.
Okay.
By the way, this is a true story. Okay.
Yeah, you mentioned that.
Yeah, it's a true story. I just want to let you know it's a true story. So a couple weeks later, the elephant and the mouse are walking in the jungles of Africa. Okay. They're walking down this path. They're walking down this path.
Wait, hold on. This is a true story, right?
This is a true story. This is a true
Okay. Just checking.
story. So the elephant and the mouse walking down this path, and the mouse falls into this ditch. And the mouse goes, "Help me, help me. I need you to get me out of this ditch." So the elephant whips out his dick and puts it into the ditch. And the mouse crawls up the elephant's dick. Said that opposite. Crawls up the elephant's dick, gets out of the ditch. So you know what the moral of the story is? If you have a big dick, you don't need a Mercedes Benz.
Oh my gosh. I wouldn't pay $200 to have a lentil on me.
Just a chickpea.
Oh my gosh. Oh, oh, I have my head is my
Your face hurts from laughing so hard right now.
face is hurting.
All right, I know you're gonna like this one. You ready?
All right.
So this so this black family, right? It's a black family, and this kid is in the kitchen cooking with his mom, and he has a bunch of flour, right? And he puts this flour in his face, right? And he's like, look, mom, white privilege." And the mom slaps the shit out of him. She's like, "Go tell your father what you look right now. Go show your father what you look like right now." So he walks to his father and he's like, look, pops, white privilege. I'm a white guy." The father slaps the shit out of him, right? He's like, "Go tell your grandmother go show your grandmother what you look like right now." So he's like, "Come on." He's like, "All right." Goes down to his grandmother. He's like, look, mom, white privilege. White. The grandma slaps the shit out of him, right? And she's like, "Go back to your mother." So he goes back to his mother. He's like, "Listen, I've been a white person for about 3 minutes and I hate you black motherfuckers."
I knew that joke. I couldn't. I remember it, but I couldn't remember where it was going. That's great. That's great. Uh, wow. Um,
Getting dry over here.
what's that?
I got a few more jokes and that's it.
Um, let me think here. I'm trying to come up with something here. Uh, um,
All right, while you think.
okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Damn, I had one right here. Okay. My wife asked a wife asked her husband, "What do you like most about me? My pretty face or my sexy body?" He looked at her head to toe and replied, "I like your sense of humor."
That reminds me of a joke. Okay,
There you
so
go.
there's a husband and wife sleeping in bed, and they wake up the next morning, and the wife says, "Honey, I had a dream last night." He says, "Yeah, what was it?" He says, "There was this flea market, and it was a dick flea market, and they were selling all different size dicks." And she goes, "Dicks that were like 2 inches, like that. They were. I'm sorry. She says, "Oh yeah." She says, "Dicks that were like a 1, 2 inches. They were $100." And she says, and dicks that were like 3 to 5 inches, they were $200." She goes, and then dicks that were like 6 to 9 inches, they were $500. Guy says, well, how much were dicks my size? She says they were giving those away. So they wake up the next morning, and the husband says, "Honey, I had a dream last night." He says there was this flea market, and they were selling pussy. He said pussy that you could barely get your pinky in, just barely stick your. He goes, they were $1,000. He goes, and then pussy that you can get 2, 3 fingers
Three,
in,
maybe.
they were $500. And he goes, and then pussies that you can get a vibrator, your hand, a small Volkswagen, they were $100.
A
She goes,
small
how much?
Volkswagen.
She says, how much were pussies my size? He says, where do you think they were holding the flea market?
That was- oh shit, that was good. All right. I couldn't understand why the baseball was getting closer and closer. And then it hit me.
Here, I used to do this. I used to do this with people. You take this here like that. You go like this. You take this here like this, and you say, you know, and this works. This works. This joke works a lot better if you're one on one. You
Mhm.
know, mano y mano.
Yeah, face to face.
Right. So, uh, I got an idea for a 3D movie. Don't you feel like it's really coming at you?
Not on the face. Not on the face. All right. I got two more jokes for you. I'm gonna do I'm gonna do the worst one, little story one first, and then a really chill one after, and that's gonna be my last joke.
Okay.
So a lady comes home from a doctor's appointment, grinning from ear to ear. Her husband asked, "Why are you so happy?" The wife says, "The doctor told me that for a 45-year-old woman, I have the breast of an 18-year-old." "Oh yeah? Hmm. What did he say about your 45-year-old ass?" She said, "Your name never came up in conversation."
That reminds me of a joke. What does an 80-year-old woman have between her tits that a 19-year-old woman doesn't?
Her feet. or her vagina or something.
Belly button.
I had the right process of thinking on it, right? All right, so my last joke. It's my last joke. This is just a plain Jane boring dad joke.
Oh.
Do old refrigerators ever die? No. They just lose their cool. All right, give me one, my boy. Give me one to end it.
You want me to give you a joke or an inspirational thought?
Well, how's this? Why don't you give me a joke, and then I'll give you an inspirational thought, and then you give me an
inspirational thought.
and then you give me an inspirational thought to end it.
Uh, okay, I'll give you a joke first then. Okay. Guy goes to the doctor and he says, Doc, every time I take a shit, it looks exactly like what I ate. He goes, I eat a hot dog. It comes out looking exactly like a hot dog. He goes, I eat pizza. He goes, it comes out looking like a slice of pizza. All the pepperoni slices are in the exact same spot. He goes, what should I do? Doctor says, eat shit.
Okay, that's a good one. All right. Here's my inspirational quote for everybody. Even a broken clock is right twice a day.
Even a broken clock
is right twice a day. All right, give me one.
All right.
Give me an inspirational quote.
And then we'll end it.
This is what we're doing. We're ending it.
Okay. If you live life in the fast lane, you get to the finish sooner.
Peace out, guys.
You know what I'm saying.
Stay positive. Love you guys. Peace.